This is going to be more about your character, and I want to find out about you first. So Nathan's what you would probably call a good guy.
Yeah.
Pretty much the straight and narrow.
He's a Horton.
Would you? Yeah. Would you like to see him get dirtied up a little bit?
Of course. Who wouldn't? I mean, it's more fun to play the bad guy, play the evil guy, play the nice guy with an issue, with an addiction, with something, a little bit deeper than the norm. But I'd love it.
Is there anything coming up that you can talk about? Maybe just a new direction that the character's going into, or just what can we expect come fall?
I think that Nathan is, he generally always he wants to do the right thing. He always wants to do what's right, whether it's going to inconvenience him or not. I think he's going to start taking a few more liberties for himself and his own feelings, and he's going to get a little sick of being walked all over. And not that it's going to be inappropriate, but he's going to definitely be a little jaded in the future.
Okay. All right. And who would you like to be acting with on the show? I mean, you have certain people that you're with quite a bit.
Yeah.
Are there people that you don't get to do a lot of scenes with that you kind of wish you did?
There are. I mean, we have some great actors on the show that I get a little jealous sometimes. I'm like, I don't get to have any scenes with them, and I start fantasizing these storylines where how somehow we can incorporate it in. But yeah, I mean, I did a quick scene with James Scott the other day, and that was a lot of fun because James is very intense. He's very into his craft, and he kind of reminds me of that same passion that I have. So when we mix into a scene, we're both ready to go. And it was just a small scene, and I kind of wish we could push on that a little more. I'd love to work with Lauren Koslow. I mean, I'd love to work more with Joe Mascolo. I mean, there's everyone. I'd love to just make my way through it.
Okay, all right. And talk to me about Twitter, because you're very present on Twitter. I know it's a way to talk to the fans. Is it a little overwhelming sometimes? Just what you get a lot of attention from your fans on there.
It can be. I usually feel bad if I can't respond to everybody, and then if I see them at events, oh, you don't write back, and I'm like, I apologize. So if you're listening now, trust me, I try to take the most common questions and then answer them in general. Know that I read as much of it as I can. Know that I'm so happy you guys follow me, and I apologize for some stuff I write sometimes because I don't usually filter it. But I think that's what you love about me.
Yeah, I think so. And if you could change something about Nathan, what would that be?
His comb over.
Yeah.
Let's give him some spiky hair. Let's give him some diesel clothes, maybe a leather jacket. I don't know. Just make him a little less straight edge, a little more fun.
Okay. And you are part of the Horton lineage on the show. When you first came on the show, was it something you were aware of, or did you do a little research to kind of see the background?
I definitely did my research prior. It's really funny. I went back and watched old clips of Days of Our Lives on YouTube, and it's not me. I went back and I actually found this great clip of my mother on the show in the 80s, and she had a scene where she's fighting with Peter Jennings, who some people assume is my father, which we're not really sure who my father is right now. But I saw a scene which was right around the time when Nathan would have been conceived, where they got into a fight, but then they ended up having this crazy love scene. And I made a joke. I was like, that's in my head what was my conception. That was before I knew that he wasn't my father, or he might not be my father. So I definitely looked back. I definitely wanted to know. I Wikipedia'd it because it gives you a really good general idea of where the families lie, where everyone's lied. The whole epic story of Tom Horton and from being on from day one on the show, and who he was to Salem and who he was to everyone around him, and then Nathan pretty much filling those shoes. It's a big deal, so I had to take that seriously, and I had to make sure that I lived up to it in what I'm doing.
I thought it was great that you were a part of a lot of the Alice funeral scenes, because it was kind of like the new generation was very present, and it was like you were part of that family.
For as sad as that entire thing is, I did enjoy meeting a lot of the people that were on the show prior. Just hearing some of these stories, and so many people saying I've been here since I was a kid, and just being on old sets and being a part of that, even though I wasn't, somehow relating to it, so that way I can tell my stories and speak at the funeral like I did. I did know everyone, what had happened was really sad, but I'm glad to have met everybody.
Okay, and anything else going on outside of the show? I'm sure it's keeping you busy, but do you have any outside projects going on?
Show's definitely keeping me busy. There's always small things going on. I'm doing a lot of writing right now. A few other projects. There's a movie that I did a couple years ago called Beyond the Mat. It's a wrestling drama. I'm a producer on it as well, so we're in the final stretch right now. We've brought in some great cameos of professional wrestlers, Ken Shamrock, Kurt Angle. We brought them into it, and now we scored the editor from Rocky, the Oscar award-winning editor from Rocky, to finish the movie, so we're really stoked.
Any release date yet?
We're pushing for the fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to pan over here to Alice and Tom.